To you through the generosity of our partners in progress. Northwest Arkansas Community College, the College at the Crossing, Bella Vista Center. Envy Salon, specializing in cuts and color in Fayetteville. A.G. Russell Knives in Rogers. The Bank of Gravette, caretakers of the Arkansas spirit. The Tuscan Trotter American Brasserie, just off the square in downtown Bentonville. Discount Smokes and Liquors at the state line in Jane, Missouri. Smith Family Chiropractic Clinic in Bentonville. Hoffman Realty in Bella Vista. It's the Out of the Norm Show. Stories about people, places, things, and events from all across the great country of America. The Out of the Norm Show, where the stories are all about you. Hi, welcome to another version of the Out of the Norm Show, where the story's all about you. And today it really is. It's all about downtown Bentonville, Arkansas, one of the great all-American cities in the whole country. I mean, this is a place that everybody wants to be like, isn't that right?
Yes, sir. We're excited. Bentonville's just lots going on. We're very progressive and looking forward to a lot more happening in the future.
This shy lady here with me, by the way, is Kaylin Griffith. She's the president and CEO of the Bentonville
Convention and Visitors Bureau.
And Visitors Bureau. Convention and Visitors Bureau. I want to make sure we get that right, because everybody calls tourists, but visitors are different from tourists, aren't they?
They're about the same. They are a little bit visitors are coming into your community. They can be regional. They can be from regional, local. But if we do tourism, we're looking at hopefully the whole section on that, the whole area, the United States International.
You know, I'm going to argue with you over that, because when I came to Bentonville the first time, we came into your bureau to visit, and then looked around. I'd never been here before, and I never felt like a tourist. I felt like a visitor. A visitor has a welcome handout from everybody. It says, hey, you're a visitor, welcome to our community. A tourist says, hey, you're a tourist, leave your money and go home. Oh. And you don't get that attitude here. You get a real personality around this square.
We're fortunate that the hospitality in Northwest Arkansas as a whole is wonderful. We hope that we are hospitable to everybody that comes in, local and the tourism or the visitor coming into the area.
Which brings us up to the reason and need for a bureau like yours. Tell me about the different segments of the Convention and Visitors Bureau.
Well, our focus is about bringing in the tourism to our city as so Bentonville's a destination. We collect tax on our hotels and our restaurants, 2% on 2% on hotels and 1% on restaurants. But the nice thing for us is that with the dollars, we are able to advertise our city, promote our city outside of the area, but we also focus on a portion of our dollars stay within our city and help develop our parks and our facilities within the city element that focus on tourism only. So from Lawrence Plaza that we built here in the downtown area, we partnered with the city to create that ice rink and the splash park so that people can utilize that throughout the year, not just for a few months. It's a 12-month.
Now let's talk about that. I mean, here we are in a southern town where, of course, we've got a lot of snow from time to time, but to have an ice skating rink that's open all winter?
Yeah, it's open for about 4 months, but they cool it with coils in the concrete, so it stays cool. Now, we had a couple hot days this year that did not allow us, the water melted just a little bit, but we were able to keep that cool and get the majority of the time for I think about 16 weeks. We had ice skating, no cover, just open ice skating outside.
And it was very inexpensive. There were a lot of families there when I went to visit.
Yes.
There were a lot of families.
It was, and that's what we're hoping is we're creating opportunities for families to enjoy, not just locally, but also people coming into town looking for other amenities to do besides just maybe going to one of our attractions. They also have that feel and fun during in the downtown area.
Now, Crystal Bridges has certainly changed the dynamics of where business and everything's going to go in this town, though, hasn't it?
Yes, sir. Crystal Bridges Museum of American Art is going to change our environment. It is also going to create us as a leisure destination. We're not going to be a majority of business destination. We are going to be mixed with the business destination and the leisure destination at this time. Right. Well, what we do is we have 3 salespeople. We have a sports sales manager, we have a group tour sales manager, and we've talked about those from the sports, bringing in additional sports. We brought in the Bentonville Half Marathon that ran right from this square, and it's about 13.5 miles. So wonderful event, had over 1,600 runners our second year, so we're very excited about that, and we see that, we anticipate that only growing and continuing to grow in the years to come. And then we also have a lot of our baseball, softball, soccer, your typical events, football, bringing in additional events. We have a couple NCAA events with a couple NAI events. Right. So we're fortunate with the sports that we can cater that, and that's kind of a great leisure audience for us, but it's also a little bit of an element where it brings in multiple people at one time.
Well, it's destination again,
exactly.
What you're talking about with families. So the demographics of our town of Bentonville is a fairly young city then, isn't it?
It is. We've changed so much in the last 10 years. From our growth. We were, I think about 10, 12 years ago, we were around 12,000, and we're now almost 38,000 population. So we have changed drastically with the number of people. And I don't know what our mean age is, but I would say, we have a lot of young families now coming into the area, starting their family in a
Sure.
in a city that has great education, great amenities. We have a quality of life that I think far surpasses many of the other cities in the United States.
Absolutely. I mean, Northwest Arkansas is a jewel out there that other parts of the country are looking at to emulate.
Yeah.
And I think organizations like yours are part of the reason why. Y'all are the personality of the city. You're developing that personality in a great way. In the short time that I've been here is what I've seen.
Yeah. Well, we're partnering. We're doing a lot of things when we work together with the Chamber, downtown Bentonville, Crystal Bridges, the Walmart Visitor Center. We create a synergy, and we meet on a regular basis so that everybody's working together at all times. And I think that's what the synergy is. It's not just one organization. It's all of our organizations working together as one.
Well, and you see in so many towns that are trying to do this kind of development, they get into these political tuggles.
Yes.
And I haven't seen that in the people that I've met around this town.
No, I think that's what's probably the most... I've had great mentors with all of those other organizations, from the mayor to Ed Clifford to Daniel. The teamwork that we have together is phenomenal, and we work so close together, making sure that we're all doing the same thing and working on going the same path, so we're not having that tug of war, and which is fortunate for us.
And this city is also very health conscious.
Yes,
you see a lot of people walking and the walking. Tell me a little bit about the walking trail system.
Well, our trail system, the city has done a great job with creating an urban trail. So you can bike to work. You can also, people can walk and run on our trail system. I think we figured up we're a little over 30 miles of trails, probably going to double that within the next 2 years. And you can pretty much go anywhere within the downtown area to the outskirts. We don't have a loop. It's like a spider, which is phenomenal for people when they do want to ride to work or run to work or walk to work. They have that option. They can get on a trail and they do not have to be on the roads. We also have some road elements to it because we don't have locations that the trails are at this time, but we see that growing. And the trail system is a great, even regional aspect. We're going to be connected from Fayetteville all the way to Bella Vista within one trail system, which is wonderful.
Sure. So if I were bringing my family here and saying I'm going to work or we're going to start a new business in Bentonville, Arkansas, what can I expect bringing my young family here? As far as education goes.
Education, top notch. We're a blue ribbon school, one of the best schools in the state, I would say, and I also say one of the best schools in the region. And I think people utilize us to compare us to in what we offer our students, from kindergarten all the way up till graduation.
And some colleges here as well.
Yes, we do. We have NWAC, University of Phoenix, and of course we have University of Arkansas in Fayetteville, and we work really closely with them also.
Wow. The education is the most important thing.
Yes. Yes, I mean, for a family, especially young families, that's one of the first things they ask. And I think Ed Clifford will give a little plug for that also.
Plenty of churches, great services, good restaurants, great history, great culture. I just can't think of a better place I'd rather live than here.
I know, it's wonderful, isn't it?
Kayleen Griffin, she's selling the city. She doesn't have to. The city sold her. That's why she's so excited about it. We're going to be back in just a second with some more information about downtown Bentonville and what's going on in the future around Crystal Bridges Museum of American Art. You'll see that and much more right here on the Out of the Norm Show, where the story's all about you. we're seeing and visiting with different people around the town of Bentonville, one of the organizations that really carries the ball on getting events done and promoting the city like no other, it's called Downtown Bentonville Incorporated. And my guest this afternoon, and a friend we've been acquaintances since last summer.
That's right.
We first got started here. This is Mr. Daniel Hines, who's the executive director. You know, Bentonville is growing in a lot of different ways. Someone told me just a couple of days ago in an interview, 10 years ago there were 12,000 people, now we're almost 40,000 people.
Right.
What an impact that is in a small community, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. It is an impact, but I think what is a testament to the city, to the planners, to the folks that we work with, like the Convention and Visitors Bureau and the Chamber and small businesses as well as Walmart, is that it still has that small town feel. People still know each other. They can still come downtown and meet their next door neighbors. So while the community has grown, it has maintained that small town feel, that small town connection.
What part of the personality of Bentonville, downtown Bentonville, you guys are responsible for a lot of that. It doesn't feel like any town. When you drive in, you just feel something.
Right.
How do you do that?
Well, first and foremost, it's I go back to our partnerships again. I mean,
Yeah.
Downtown Bentonville Inc. is a part of a larger group of human beings, sort of, and organizations working to support and continue that momentum of downtown. So as I mentioned, a few of them, the Chamber, the Convention and Visitors Bureau, the city, Walmart, Crystal Bridges, small businesses, and individuals, the residents, are sort of all working together to make sure that that happens, that sense of togetherness, cohesiveness. So what are some of those special elements of downtown? And I think that concept of authenticity, this is not staged, this is real. I mean, people come down and they're really this nice. You know, I think the other thing is that concept of the entrepreneur. You know, Bentonville has reinvented itself multiple times in its history, and I think we're going through another massive change as Crystal Bridges and 21C come on board. But that sense of, that environment of the entrepreneur, what can happen? There is opportunity here that I've experienced that has been unprecedented in many of the other communities that I've been a part of. And so I think you have that authenticity, that entrepreneurship, and then also just that basic friendliness, the ability to say, how you doing? Can we help? What's going on? And when you meld all those things together, I think it boils down to there's a real sense of community here, a real sense of community ownership, but it's not exclusive. Right? It's very, very inclusive, and I think that's what makes it easier to do what we do.
Enthusiastic creativity.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. It's happening.
Now we're getting ready for one of the biggest events, not just in Northwest Arkansas, but for the United States. I mean, this is a national, worldwide interest, and just from right now, it's only about 6-7 months away, the opening of Crystal Bridges Museum of American Art. Tell me how your preparation for that is and how this new development downtown is coming together.
Well, I think I want to go back, before I answer that, I want to go back to one word that I forgot to say, and I think that it connects to what's happening with Crystal Bridges, is the concept of generosity within this community. This community is incredibly generous in the sense of how it helps each other, what they bring to the table, and of course Crystal Bridges is one of the penultimate examples of generosity of a group of family that has come together to provide this, not only to Bentonville, but also to the world. And it is absolutely incredible. It is one of those transformational projects that occurs every once in a blue moon within a community, and we are incredibly lucky to be in a community that will be home to one of the quintessential cultural institutions here in the United States. It's incredibly exciting.
There'll be people from all over the world coming for that. That's going to be in November of 2011 when it opens.
That's correct, 11/11/11.
Now, I noticed that also you've got new businesses coming in around the square in particular in that area. What's drawing that attraction to that place to be a nucleus of activity?
Right. Well, I think Northwest Arkansas certainly has advantages in and of itself as a dynamic region from Fayetteville up to Bella Vista. There's a lot of activity happening through there, so that certainly helps to be a part of that. But I think in particular, there's a palpable buzz here within Bentonville. There is certainly a sense of opportunity. There's it's low sort of entry barriers for people who want to come and start something. There's a lot of activity, and of course that activity breeds other activity. A lot of interest. Part of it, obviously, is Crystal Bridges and 21C and these other things. But I think there's also something from the side of Bentonville, the city of, that is also attracting. They're beginning to put in more parks, like the Splash Park, the trail system, which is an incredible partnership in and of its own with multiple organizations. So I think what's happening is the civil side of things are meeting the private side of things, and together they're creating a really interesting partnership that's creating a momentum, that's developing a momentum that people are beginning to pay attention to. And it's not just businesses. I think it's also, we're seeing a lot of activity around residential as well. People wanting to purchase some of the homes that maybe historically have not been particularly taken care of because the attention wasn't here. Now the attention is here. You're having young families move back into downtown. You're having couples move back into downtown. And that, of course, just fuels more so that momentum. So it's not just based on businesses. We have a lot of people that just want to be a part of what's happening down here.
And there's a lot of tourist areas I've noticed too where locals don't support tourism. I mean, they have people that come and leave their money and go home, but I've heard so many times people that go, well, yeah, we have that in our town, but you know, I've never been over there. Or it's been years and years. But you don't have that here. People are participators, aren't they?
Sure. Well, but it also depends on how you define tourists. And if we look at it and say a tourist is anybody who doesn't live in downtown, that's everybody who goes to work at Walmart could be considered a tourist. How do we hook them into staying here after they work? People that pass by, people that live out on the other side of Bentonville, what is going to attract them to come down here? And if you approach them with that sort of tourist mentality, saying, you know, we constantly have to reinvent the experience, we constantly have to engage them in a new way. But it's the same sort of thing with those that live down here. How do we engage them to be a part of that hook, to be a part of that story? So it's a real interesting play between tourism and those that live here. I think what engages tourists will engage the citizen at the exact same time.
But your volunteerism groups around here too are so dynamic. I think that brings a lot of people in that they feel they have a vested interest in. They call it our town, even though they may have just moved here.
Well, and it's not just the citizens. Once again, I go back to if we can have even people that visit here lay claim to a part of Bentonville, that they feel that they're leaving a part of themselves here, they will continuously come back and continue to cultivate that sense of volunteerism and ownership with the people that actually live here in Bentonville. If we're able to be successful in both of those things, I think we'll constantly have people who will return, whether they live 2 miles away or whether they live 2,000 miles away.
What kind of new businesses can we expect to see within the next 6 months, from now about the middle of summer in 2011 till the first of the year? What are we going to see change around here?
Well, I think one of the largest changes we're going to see is really a lot of the culinary offerings that will be provided in downtown. You had the Station Cafe, which has been around for quite some time, but really the second renaissance of downtown came along with Table Mesa and some of the offerings that they provided. I think it showed people in the community that a restaurateur and another restaurateur besides the Station Cafe can come down here and really make a go at it and do well. That stimulated the Tuscan Trotter, which just recently opened up. They've been doing phenomenally well. The young chef, Chef Rob Nelson, continuously makes a name for himself in that capacity. We have Tavola Trattoria, the restaurant that is owned by Carl and Lindy Garrett, who also own Table Mesa. They're opening up sort of an Italian bistro.
Where is that going to be?
That's going to be right next door to Tuscan Trotter. It's the new building.
Oh, okay, right.
That Lawco, the Lawsons are putting in right there. We also have the Press Room, which is a coffee house. It's not a coffee shop, it's a coffee house. And so it's very much that coffee house vibe. You can go in, you can hang out, you can grab a cup of coffee, you can get something to eat. I would be remiss if I also didn't mention the Spark Cafe, which surprisingly enough does offer some very interesting culinary experiences. Right. The coffee is locally roasted. The baked goods are locally sourced. So their connection from the Spark Cafe to the community is quite significant. And then we have the Flying Fish, which will open up. Which will open up right around the corner on 109 Northwest 2nd. That will be opening up very soon. But I also think one of the approaches that we took with this whole concept of the culinary is that it has to be sourced from somewhere. And we really focused hard on sort of growing the Bentonville Farmers Market to be a resource for these new restaurants coming into downtown. So we strengthened the Farmers Market. You can now get most of your proteins here. We have an artisan cheese maker. We have fresh crepes, fresh roasted coffee, which the coffee from the Farmers Market is actually being served at Tuscan Trotter. And a lot of the restaurants coming in, even with Crystal Bridges. Crystal Bridges is looking at how do we locally source a lot of our produce as well. This is one of the things that differentiates between a restaurant and a local restaurant. This is one of those kind of things that what's fresh, what's happening, and what's also great about that, which is part of this downtown philosophy, is the fact that when they buy local, that triples that impact within the economy. They're buying local produce. Well, that local farmer is spending locally, and so it compounds that. And so these restaurants are very much a part of that momentum. The museum is very much a part of that momentum, not just because of the museum itself, but how they're actually practicing their business. And I think that's a testament, too, as you talked about that ownership. People coming into downtown aren't just here to do business, but they're here to build community. And I think that's a big, big difference, and it's something that I've had a distinct honor of working with a lot of these small business owners down here, like Overstreets, who's been here since the 40s. You know, you have folks like that, the Arvest Bank, you know, which used to be Bank of Bentonville. I mean, all of these entities have been coming together to build this momentum, and this is sort of one of those epics of that momentum.
Wow. Well, it's a great, exciting place to be, and to hear all the new things going on. The country can complain about the negatives that are happening, but it seems to me like even though we're affected by it, we're taking the positive stance, and we're going to rise above that anyway, because that's what Americans do. We rise above, and that's what's happening in downtown Bentonville. Well, thanks for all the info and the insight on what's going on, and it's going to be exciting to be a participator, not just a spectator.
Absolutely, absolutely.
And we hope you guys will come and join us, too. We'll see you again in just a few minutes. There's more good stuff here on the Out of the Norm show right after a short break.
There are accidents waiting to happen. This year, 1 in 3 older adults will fall in their own home, breaking bones, fracturing hips, shattering lives. Yet many falls can be prevented, meaning they're not really accidents. To make your home safer, visit orthoinfo.org/falls. A public service message from the American Academy of Orthopedic Surgeons, where staying on your feet is doctor's orders.
Hi, welcome back to the Out of the Norm show. I'm sitting with a new friend, Mr. Ed Clifford, who is the CEO and president of the Bentonville Bella Vista Chamber of Commerce. Big title? That makes for a big card, doesn't it?
Sure.
This town is fascinating. I've only been visiting here since last August, or just almost a year now, and I've seen even changes in this short period of time. In talking with Kayleen, we were talking about bringing new businesses in and those kind of things, but you're really involved with economic development more than the Tourist and Visitors Bureau, right?
Well, we have two parts of Bentonville. We have the downtown area, which we've worked hard to rejuvenate, and has been the beneficiary of a major announcement by Alice Walton about Crystal Bridges, a major announcement by a hotel group that they'll put a 21C hotel downtown. And so we've had, as a result of that, several new restaurant openings and an expansion of the Walmart Visitor Center, and just a whole lot of things downtown. But there's a whole second part of Bentonville. We happen to house the largest corporation in the world. There are 1,250 offices of suppliers to that large corporation. There are approximately 29,000 Walmart associates in Northwest Arkansas. And we spend some time trying to identify companies that would benefit by moving here, moving their offices here, bringing associates here, and joining us in this great growth pattern that we have, and a quality of life that's becoming really something special.
Has this area been, and it also isolates us from some of the other issues that happen in other parts of the country, because of the economics?
Although the more publicity you get, and the better you do your job at creating a great corporate environment and quality of life, the more publicity you get, and the more folks who see that that's what's happening, and perhaps we become the targets of some things that we've never had before, which always gets kind of interesting. One of the beneficiaries of our growth has been diversity. We have a really strong, diverse population in Northwest Arkansas. Because of Walmart and J.B. Hunt and Tyson, we have lots and lots of Asians who have moved here. We have a whole contingent of Marshallese in the Springdale area. We have lots of Hispanics who have moved here because of better economic opportunities. So we've been blessed with diversity, and each of the cities is dealing with that in a different way, but it has enriched us in so many ways that we are grateful for it.
So we don't see that as a problem that's caused here?
No, that's a great opportunity.
I mean, the crime rates are not really high here,
no.
And there's still plenty of work.
Yep. It's been a great opportunity for us to broaden our appeal to when we make appeals to other areas. If we're talking to a company in Miami, Florida about moving here, they're not worried that some of their people would feel strange here because nobody looked like them. We have people who look like them.
Right.
And so wherever we go, we're able to accommodate that.
But it still maintains a sense of personality about it. It's not just another little town you drive through. I mean, I noticed it when I first came here. There's just something special about this little square area. There was a personality about this
Sure.
town.
And we've made sure that the square maintained its position as the strength of our community. In some other communities, Fayetteville's got a very active square. Ours is, we put a lot of money into it. It's the center of what we do. There's 370 hours of programming on the square and activities this year from March through October. It is the county seat. County courthouse is on half of, or
Right.
a quarter of the square. There's always something going on in the square, and it's beautiful. We've made sure that the grass is green and the trees are kept and the flowers look great. And it's
Governor
just
Barry stands atop the statue.
He sure does. So you know, it's just a great area to visit, and any time of the day or night, you see people sitting on the square around the fountain, just enjoying themselves.
What is the image that you want to project in bringing new businesses here? Is it all going to be, or at least in the near future, is the Crystal Bridges project, is that going to be kind of the focus of new businesses to kind of support that tourism?
Certainly, I think that's a leg of what we present. But what we also present is an access to a workforce that is really unusual in the United States. We are the home, for example, of probably 80% of the software productivity gains in the United States. They come out of both Tyson and Walmart. So we have a tremendous population of computer programmers and software developers and folks like that. We have a lot of packaging companies here and design companies, and we have offices of 1,250 major corporations in the United States who have trained their folks here. So we're really a great place for someone to land and feel real comfortable as far as everything they would have found in New York or Chicago or Los Angeles, but in a small town atmosphere that they're really comfortable in, and in quick fashion can probably get to know most of the people in this town on a Saturday morning around the farmers market. So it's a very different environment.
It's a small town with a lot of people.
You betcha. You betcha.
Well, that atmosphere is certainly a welcome hand to, again, that personality, and the invitation to join the community is just wonderful. That's what I felt. And when we moved our business here, we knew no one. And within just a few days, suddenly we knew someone here and someone
Sure.
there. And we run into the same people at church and run into the same people in different places.
You betcha.
So it's a great place to connect and be connected to.
It is.
Well, thank you so much for your help
You're
with this, and I know that you're going to enjoy this. Hey, we want to invite you to downtown Bentonville or anywhere in our area in northwest Arkansas. It's a great part of the world to live in. It's part of Americana that's being preserved and enhanced, not only through the arts, but mainly by attitude. Folks are happy to be here, and you can see it on their face. We hope you'll come and visit with us and see all the great things you can find in Bentonville, Arkansas. In the meantime, take a look around your house and your yard, or you never know when we're going to be driving up, because as you know, as always, on the Out of the Norm show, the stories are all about you. We'll see you again very soon on another version.
Like loving the South and me just loving you. Loving the South and me just loving you.